Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Thanks to everyone who turned up for the live yesterday. It went on for 3 hours and 10 minutes and it flew. And the reason it flew is because all you guys were terrific. You know, you turned up, you give you questions, we had a good old laugh. So yeah, let's do another live sometime. Anyway, Harlem Eubank defeats Josh Wagner. Won almost all the rounds. I mean, I think a couple of them were shutouts, and then I think Amy Pugh, the third judge, had it. She gave Josh Wagner 1 round. It sounds correct to me. It sounds correct. I wasn't, ticking the rounds off and scoring them. Okay, so what do we make of Harlem Eubank? Well, this victory, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, Josh Wagner, I don't know a great deal about him coming in. He's 33. He's from Canada. 10 KOs in 19 wins. And he only had 1 defeat, which was a stoppage to David Papot. And that was back in the last year. He didn't win. Yeah, he didn't really win a round against Harlem Eubank. Now, the fight itself, Eubank jabbed very well. He picked his punches very well. He fought at a steady pace. He kept things at, most of the time it was sort of long to mid to long range, perhaps. There were very few real exchanges. Wagner was a disappointment, to say the least. He didn't seem to have any real ideas. He didn't threaten Eubank. He did land a couple of individual punches that were quite sharp. Big left hook in one of the rounds, maybe around 6 or 7, I think. But he wasn't really offering anything that was going to ever trouble Eubank. And Eubank just quite simply boxed his way to an easy victory and deserved it. But here's the thing about Harlem Eubank. I mean, first of all, before I go into that, actually, let me say, look, his previous fight was against Jack Catterall, and he lost a technical decision over, I think it was 7th round. There was head clash, and the referee said Eubank couldn't continue, and there was some very minor controversy there. Could he have continued? But here's the thing in that fight. Eubank he didn't seem to have any sort of tactics going in. And he just seemed like he was just there to sort of, not to make up the numbers, but hey, look, I'm in with Jack Catterall and it's a big fight. I'm headlining a card and yeah, I'm here. But he didn't seem to bring any kind of tactics. And Catterall's not the most exciting of fighters. He did look good in his previous fight. I give him that. But Harlem Eubank, suddenly, when he was on the major stage, did he freeze? And not really. It was more a case of, I don't know, he texted, okay, what do I do? What do I do? There was an air of pointlessness about his performance. I'm struggling to find the right word. Now, the reason I say this, and this is, of course, it was his previous fight, the reason I say this is that although he just about whitewashed Josh Wagner, and he did nothing wrong against Wagner, the thing about Harlem Eubank is he looks like someone who has learnt to box very well. He's been very well schooled. He understands the individual punches, what they represent. He's got a decent ring IQ. He doesn't hit particularly hard. Good jab. Understands, the reasoning behind controlling the range, controlling the pace of a fight. Can probably do 10, 12 rounds, certainly. But he seems to me to be a fighter who's been, probably because of his name, has learned how to box because of that. And there's something missing with Harlem Eubank. And I don't mean this to be rude to the guy. He gets into the ring, he fights. I've got respect for all guys that do that, from the journeyman right up to the elite world champs. I've got respect for that, definitely. But there is something missing with this guy. And yes, he does everything technically correct. But when he's put under the spotlight, as he was against Catterall, it's almost like, oh, wow, I'm here. I don't know whether he's too laid back. I get the impression he's just not a natural fighter. that he has, in a sense. It's kind of like, I mean, I'm a bit of a musician, and you can get someone who can learn to play the guitar, but they learn the chords and they can play other people's music quite well, but they've got no imagination. They can't write songs. They might even be able to play, 5-6 notes a second because they're very proficient, but they're more of an artisan than an artist. Now, if you draw the parallel with boxing, Harlem Eubank strikes me as being someone who has learned how to box, but there's no real innate fighter in there. I don't know if this is making any sense to you, but that's the impression I get with Eubank. There is something missing. Now, he's 31 years old now, so he's got to get his skates on. He had that opportunity against Catterall and did nothing with it. It was a very uninspired, lost performance almost. Terrible fight to watch as well, absolutely terrible. And while we're on the subject of entertainment, Harlem Eubank does not entertain. He didn't really have anything in front of him. And I think once he does get someone in front of him who has, let's say, skills that are on a par with his, and is also looking to take his head off and has a lot of ambition and pushes him back and puts him under pressure. And suddenly Harlem isn't allowed to use the things he's learned in the gym. He's not allowed to keep this a controller range, or he's struggling to do so. And the other guy is hitting him back and hitting him hard and hitting him often and punching from angles that he's not used to. How will he react then? Will he adapt? Will he fight back innately without even thinking about it? Like, okay, I need to, just instinctively. That's it. There's no instinct there with Harlem Eubank. That's the point I'm trying to make. He fights like a guy who lacks that natural fighter's psyche. That's the impression I get. And he is not entertaining to watch. I mean, God bless him. I mean, you look at him, the Tyrone McKenna fight, that was okay. He stopped McKenna in 10. That wasn't a bad little fight. And he stopped Timo Schwarzkopf. That was 2 years ago, 2 years ago. I can't remember, 2.5 years ago maybe. He stopped him in the 11th round as well. So he does the 12 well. And he's able to put pressure on fighters and eventually grind them down, even though he hasn't got a high KO ratio. But when he's got someone who is, dare I say it, is higher than him in terms of ring IQ and so on and tools in the box, and he's got to fight and he's got to overachieve, I just wonder. They're talking about Eubank trying to get hold of Crocker, who's the IBF champ, Lewis Crocker. I think Crocker beats him. I don't know about stoppage, but I think he beats him. But of course, Crocker is hoping, for Conor Benn to come back down to welter to fight him. But we'll see. So yeah, a good win for Harlem Eubank in the sense that he won most of the rounds. This was on Channel 5, by the way, so a lot of people would have seen it because network television, terrestrial television, whatever you want to call it, there are high viewing figures, all things considered. So he's getting the exposure, but he's not entertaining. He's just not entertaining. He's still with Wasserman, by the way. Wasserman, the old Sauerland outfit. What do you think? Let me know what you think of Harlem Eubank. Am I right? Am I wrong? You tell me. I don't know. But thank you for watching the video, of course. Hit the like button. Once again, thanks for joining the live last night. It was a lot of fun. And please, if you're new, join Joe Turner Boxing. Hit the subscribe button and do all that good stuff. We have videos for you virtually every day. So thank you very much. The weekend is here. Let's enjoy it. Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Bye for now.